Here we are once again discussing the topic of how often should you get a haircut. Now, I want to put a little bit of a spin on this because I've done videos like this in the past, and literally there's videos all over YouTube about things like this. But in my experience as a professional, I've come across a number of things. So one, there's a few different layers of, quote unquote layers, get it? There's a few different variations, I should say, of haircuts and what your end goal is, all right? I actually recall one specific time where a client of mine in the past was, usually goes really, really short with his hair, and he said, oh, I just want to trim it up. And I was like, well, like trim it up meaning with like the clippers, fade it up? And he was like, no, I'm actually trying to grow it so I can get the sides to go back. So just trim it up and clean it up. So for the first time in I don't know how many years of cutting his hair, I actually didn't go to the clippers, and I thought, well, he wants the sides to go back. How is that going to happen? Well, it's got to grow and get longer. So I use scissors on the entire haircut, which I do and I've done hundreds and hundreds of times. But I said, okay, I'm going to approach this from just using purely shears and focus on just trimming it and cleaning up the ends and tidying it up so it looks a little bit neater and it's all balanced. So I did the whole haircut with shears, just cleaned up the ends, skimmed off the dead ends, and had the goal in mind that he wants to be able to go back. Now, if I were to take clippers, right, and if you're a professional watching this, this is very, very important. If someone's trying to grow their hair out and you then go back in, instead of using number 1 guard, say you use number 2 guard, and that hair is like a 4 guard, you just now cut off, say, a half a month or a month's worth of growth when all you had to do was trim it a little bit and maybe shave back like 10 days of growth, okay? And then all of a sudden they're gonna get mad, it's gonna stick out again, it's not gonna lay it properly. So you really have to take that in consideration. If you're a client and you wanna grow your hair out, just tell them. Say, look, I know you normally use clippers on my hair, right? I know I was in maybe, a month and a half ago, 2 months, and you usually use like a 2 guard or a 1 guard. But right now you can see my hair is just long. I literally want to be able to go back with it. So don't use clippers, just use scissors and skim the ends. I want to keep it this long, just clean the ends up and keep using these kind of motions with your hand and keep referring to the things that are most important to you. AKA, I want my hair to go back. I want to be able to brush it back and see the layers. If you use that verbiage and terminology, the professional should be able to pick up on that much easier than, oh, I'm trying to grow it out. Sometimes stylists or barbers may not be, I don't even know how to say this, but let's just say you need to communicate to them so that they can understand fully, okay? And a lot of those visual cues and references that you make are gonna make it a lot easier for us as professionals to understand what the heck you're talking about. So maybe you don't get your hair cut as often, and then you get to the point where you finally have your hair, and this is something I've read hundreds of times on my channel from comments where I finally got my hair to the exact length I wanted. I went in and wanted to get a trim, and the lady butchered my hair, and she cut off 4 inches, and she destroyed it, and this and that. I unfortunately cannot control when somebody does a hack job, when they create a crime scene on your head. I can't help you on that, unfortunately. It's a matter of just communication. And here's the thing. If you see them take their first cut and all of a sudden, and they're starting in the back, all of a sudden you see a bunch of hair come off, a big chunk. You're thinking I cut a half an inch or a quarter of an inch, and all of a sudden you see 1.5 inches come off. You say, whoa, 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 whoa. You stop them right then and there. It's better to have one shorter piece than the whole damn head that's completely massacred. Because imagine that. You're going to have to grow all that hair back. So that's the one flip side, all right? Now, if you are just looking to go for regular trims, 4 to 6 weeks or so could be a good time frame. If you're somebody who goes weekly because you're getting skin fades or lined ups, or you want to keep your hair really, really tight. I've heard of people going 2-3 times a week to go to their barber because they want to have their lineups and the shape super, super crispy. They want to have it super sharp. That's totally cool. I get that. I mean, if you can afford to do that and they're charging a reasonable rate, that's totally awesome. You want to look your best and feel your best, and go ahead and go get it cut as often as you want. But it really depends on you. It depends on your style. I myself, my goal when cutting hair was to always have the hair grow out as good as it possibly can. I actually had 4 weeks, 5 weeks in mind. Yes, I wanted to look fresh and sharp right then and there, but I put so much effort into having my haircuts grow out really well. And every single client that I worked on over the years always said, your haircuts, like they would come in 5 weeks, 6 weeks later, and I'd use like a number 1 on them or whatever. And I'd say, my gosh, your hair looks incredible. They're like, dude, you're the king, man. Your haircuts are like ridiculous. I'm like, then I go back and I go, well, that's because I cut it to grow out well. And that's why spending the extra time on a haircut and putting the effort in can really help make a big difference in the end result. So how often should you get your haircut? As often as needed, okay? There's no big secret myth or, getting your haircut is gonna make it grow faster. No, it's gonna keep it looking healthier. You may think it's growing faster, it's just looking healthier as it's growing out if it's maintained properly. Please, I wanna see a ton of comments. Let me know if you found this video helpful. Let me know if you've had an experience like this in the past where you were trying to grow it and somebody hacked it off, or are you somebody who goes in once every 2 weeks for a haircut? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.